Hey, welcome to Greatest Golfer. I am Todd Franco, Greatest Guru. It is December, and we're still talking golf, and I'm thrilled to be doing that and thrilled to be talking golf with the Kenny Keller, YSU, Cardinal Mooney, Pride of Boardman. How are you doing today, Mr. Keller?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thrilled to be with you today. Where are you at today?
I am currently just south of Fort Myers in Florida.
Awesome. And you're down there because of why we're talking today, which is starting a cool, new, exciting chapter in your life. When people go pro in football or decide to go pro in football or go pro in basketball, has all different levels. You've made a cool decision in life to give the pro golf circuit a try. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to do this over the summer when I was playing my best golf. This is something that I've always dreamed of doing, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be doing this. So, um, this is something that a lot of people have encouraged me to do. And, not only do I get the chance to carry out my dream, but I get the chance to experience, something different in life, the next chapter and, seeing how it can kind of shape me as a golfer and maybe even shape me as a person too. So I'm definitely excited to be here and I'm looking forward to carrying on this opportunity.
Absolutely love the thought that you said about shaping you as much as a person, as a golfer. Spot on for that. Um, we see obviously we're all addicted to Barstool and ESPN and everything else, and you see the draft pick signings and all the hoopla. That's like a small percentage of the professional athletes out there who arrive. So many of them arrive, through the practice squad, through the walk on circuit at the college level, and where you're getting your golf start is kind of an equivalent. I guess talk to me about how these patchwork of mini tours around the country, whether it's Florida or Texas, and the path that requires to try to go pro from that level.
Yeah, it definitely helps prepare you as you try to get to the bigger tours, just like, say a practice squad guy or, someone on the come up. And it's hard to compare golf to other sports because golf in its own way is very unique. But I'll be playing on two tours when I'm down here, the Southwest Florida Golf Tour and the Minor League Golf Tour. And in February, March, I will be pursuing Canadian Tour Q School. I will be competing in, I would say, 8 to 10 events over the next 4 months. And, traveling all over Southern Florida and kind of testing my game against these other guys that are trying to make it will be really good for me as I try to keep improving. So, I'm looking forward to the challenge and I'm just trying to get better in any way possible. So,
It's been a life dream, but obviously, and you're coming off, a great high school career, solid YSU career. Let's not forget the staple of your life, which was greatest golfer as
of
well. So,
course,
obviously the summer was awesome. Let's talk about that headline with the U.S. Am Tour. Are
I
those
would say I would say qualifying for the USAM was kind of what made me decide to do this. The level that I was playing at that time, made me realize that I can make this happen if I continue to stick with it. Because at that point, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play golf or if I wanted to start working. But I had never played at that level before, and once I experienced playing like that, I realized I probably need to keep going because I don't want to spend the rest of my life not knowing.
when you talk about the local golf ecosystem and the decision that you made, talk to me about some of the people you talked to.
I would say my right hand man in all this was John Jones at Youngstown Country Club. He's been my swing coach for 12 years. He coached Matt Gerska. Matt Gerska went through it. So I spent a lot of time talking to John. I also got some insight from Scott Sundstrom as well. How spoiled are we to have, those two working at our country club back home. But, I talked to him a lot, and John's always had the confidence in me. He's always supported me since, I was raw and I was, shooting in the 80s, shooting in the 90s. So he has definitely helped shape my golf game to what it is today. And he's definitely kind of been one of my guides through this. And then in terms of emotional support, my family's been great too.
I remember you coming through greatest about 10 years ago, and Club Keller was definitely in force.
Oh yeah. We my parents like to color coordinate too. So sorry to anybody that had to see that back then.
So did they color coordinate you as well, or just the two of them?
Uh, I would say they color coordinated with me, and this was when I was really young, so it's funny back then, but they definitely had me color coordinate, and then I'd have like my cousins and my aunts. It's like, oh, he's wearing blue today, and so wear blue. And now I'm looking back on it like, really, did we actually do that? But it's funny when you're
Sorry.
that age, it's pretty funny. But if we did that now, I'd be like, oh boy, this is kind of embarrassing. But
So props to the history with Jonesy and Sunstrom and their impact, but the Valley has a cool golf legacy as well. Just with you got obviously Jason Kokrak's at the top of it. You've got experience with Garrett Frank, who plugged away so many years on the tour. You got on the ladies' side Haley Harford, who's done a great college career, LPGA getting started there. I mean, even to the younger level, Gianna Clement. Um,
well, what she's doing at her age is unbelievable. She's already competing at the highest level possible
that crazy.
on the women's side of it. It's insane how good she is.
And then there's
But
Matt Kurska and everything. So I guess watching and also too, let's throw in Dennis Miller with his open opportunity a few years ago, and even Brandon. People talked about Pochinski, and he's got the itch to give the Open a try this summer. As you watch those careers and their various points of did or did not, gave it a try, it didn't work, gave it a try, and it worked. How's that help shape some of your thinking?
I would say a little bit of both. Um, the way I've always looked at it is I would rather try and fail than not try and not know.
Yeah.
Um, that's just how I look at it. But my mentality when I'm down here is I'm gonna do everything I can to make this happen. And whether I win or lose, I just want to look back and say I really did give it everything I had. Now, when I qualified for the USAM, the people that would come up to me and support me, it really was special. And I think that just shows you how well connected Youngstown really is. We're a small city, but we're some pretty damn strong people. So
You're down in Florida now. What is your day to day life?
I'm working at Golf Club of the Everglades. Shout out my man Tommy Leidick for hooking me up. He played at Youngstown, graduated a couple years before I did, but I gave him a call. I said, "Listen, Tommy, I'm gonna try to turn pro. Is there any way you can squeeze me in at Golf Club of the Everglades? So I have a place to work and a place to practice." And he goes, "Any job you want, you just let me know." There's days where I'll work, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then I'll go out and practice from, 2 to 5, 2 to 6 before sunset. And then there's days where I'll work 11 to 6 and then I'll go in at, you know, 9 and I'll hit balls for a couple hours, hit balls, putt, chip, do whatever. And that club is very, very generous with employees by, letting them play and practice there.
And your goal is an event every 2 weeks. Are these 36
Roughly.
holes? Are these 36
Yeah,
holes?
36 holes. For the most part. So, you'll get your practice round before day one, day two. You got to show up and play good though, because, 36 holes is a lot different than 54. You got to be on your game because, you'll get guys that are shooting, 7 or 8 under and winning those events. So it's not like you got 3 rounds where you can maybe afford to shoot 1 or 2 over in one of them. You got to play good both days. So,
What's the top prize going to be in any of these?
most events, first place gets 10,000, but again, you got to be on your game, ready to go. That's not easy to get, but if there's 40 guys, maybe top 15, 12 get paid out.
What kind of budget have you put together? How much? I mean, what are the entry fees and what are your plans for finance it all and how have you structured that?
So out of, I said 8 to 10 events, some of those events are $900 entry fees and some of them are $400 entry fees.
Okay. All right.
So, what a lot of people do is, they find sponsors or they crowdfund just to kind of ease the pressure on that player and their families because, unfortunately in golf, it is extremely expensive to try to turn pro. And when you factor in, driving a couple hours to an event, finding a hotel, paying for food, all that stuff, it adds up. You know, again, we're trying to do as much as we can because anything helps.
Looking backward, being a collegiate golfer at the D1 level was what was the threshold. Um, being a US AM qualifier, playing what was the threshold. Obviously, greatest golfer, huge threshold in your life. What do you have to see going forward? When to keep going and when to say it's time to find another lane?
I think for me to keep going, if I'm making money and I'm playing well in these events, and more importantly than that, I'm really enjoying it, that's how I know I'll keep going. I'd be surprised if I want to quit after 2 years. And quit's a strong word.
Absolutely.
That's why I'd be surprised if I felt that way.
Yeah. What's the funniest thing you've picked up, if there is anything, about the grind, about the path? What's one of those aha moments like, damn, I didn't realize this was involved in it?
I would say the driving, actually. I would say driving to some of these events. Like when I did Corn Ferry Q School back in September, I packed up my trunk after shooting. I think I was 16 over, 17 over after 3 days. So I didn't play good. And then I got my car and I'm like, oh, now I got to drive home 7 hours after playing a 5 hour round in 85-degree baking heat. I'd say driving so far is one of them, but
Probably the toughest crew you have to figure out, but also the most supportive crew is your golf posse. And that's you got Bradich, you got Velasquez, you got that whole crew. How's the conversation gone over the years with that crew?
those guys, I can't even begin to explain how lucky I am to have those guys because they've been extremely supportive of me through all of it. They've told me, we got your back through all this. We want you to succeed. Anything you need from us, feel free to reach out. And my other friends as well that they're not golfers as much as they are. They've been great. They've been great too. My friends, my family. I got to bring up my girlfriend because she's been supportive, extremely supportive too. She comes from a golf background. She played in college. Um, just that everyone's been so supportive.
When you talk about sacrifices and the impact and the things you got to go through, making this decision costs you playing greatest golfer adult events for your future.
I know.
How hard of a decision was that? I mean, and thanks for consulting me because I got no call about hey, and therefore I won't be able to join you for 3 days in August anymore.
No, but you know what? I'm excited for our fundraiser.
Greatest day of golf.
That's the greatest day of golf. That's going to be my involvement with the greatest golfer. So I'm excited.
Manager Kenny Keller, is that the title they had you on?
You can call me whatever you want.
Well, I think it was
We all do the same
organizer?
thing.
Organizer?
Organizer. We all had fun. We all did a good thing today, and we get to rest. Now we get to rest.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Bradich.
Yeah, great company, great time, and good to have Ken with us this year. Pleasure.
Absolutely. For the kids, for the kids.
14 hours and 15 minutes of golf. Talk to me, boys.
I think it was worse this year than 2 years ago.
But we're a little tired. We had a lot of fun today, and
Yeah.
we're going to sleep good tonight. So if we don't text you back in the next 15 hours,
Yeah,
you
you'll
know.
know why.
Well, I'm excited for you. It's been fun watching it since what, age 12?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I like number. I like hole number 6 and I like hole number 8 because those are the only 2 holes I birdied today. And I made like a 15-footer on 6, and then 8 I put it to like 3 feet and made the putt for birdie. So those are my favorite holes.
Did you have a fun day today?
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
All right, you in the middle.
Smile, Ken.
Just a couple drop shots, but other than that, I played really well. Course is playing nice and soft.
What was it like to compete for greatest?
Oh, it was awesome. It was just a great experience, and I really enjoyed it.
A lot of good competition growing up on the greatest golfer. I'd always look forward to the summers when I was younger, for
You
sure.
guys were awesome, and then to see you guys. Well, hey, it's been cool watching, but also cool to keep watching. So I'm thrilled for you, and
Thank you.
greatest can help you. You just keep asking.